There's an age-old saying of where there is smoke there is fire, and in the real world it often proves to be the case. In the world of Formula 1, however, with all its mind games and obfuscations, it's hard to tell whether the smoke is a deceptive distraction set to turn heads and sow chaos, or if it's just an Alpine coming to a stop on track. Some sagas rage on for so long and the rumour gains so much traction that even the strangest stories become believable. I mean, hey, Hamilton to Ferrari finally came to pass after almost a decade of long tails every silly season, so no matter what the rumour is, stranger things have certainly happened. Two such rumours have been unignorable this season, and it all started with the departure of another talismanic figure, as well as the departure of a previously dominant team's race-winning form. One of these rumours is more or less guaranteed to be resolved soon, and the other one, well, let's just say Red Bull are praying to anyone that will listen that they don't lose two of their talismans in 1 year. Wait, did I say praying? Because in the case of Christian Horner, I think whining is more appropriate. Want to know why the situation with Max Verstappen is approaching its breaking point? Horner swears that there's nothing to see, but Max's contract may say otherwise. And stick around, because according to a Formula 1 legend, Adrian Newey has found himself a new team to call home. It's safe to assume that there is a greater level of concern at Red Bull this season than ever before. The early season controversy surrounding the team principal, the departure of Adrian Newey, the nosediving in performance, and we could go on and on and on. The most pressing issue, however, and one that is directly affected by all of those moving parts, is the status of their number one driver, the three-time world champion Max Verstappen. Now, before you roll your eyes, the reason why we need to talk about Max Verstappen's situation is because it's no longer just about what's going on behind the scenes at Red Bull. All throughout this saga, Christian Horner's comfort blanket has been, but we've been the fastest car, why would he go anywhere? And to a certain extent, it's a legitimate reason to believe Verstappen would tolerate the other misgivings of the Milton Keynes team. Now, however, the issues aren't just behind the scenes or even just in the paddock. The issues are on track, and even worse, the issues are making the chances of retaining either title slimmer with every passing week for Verstappen. We said a month or so ago we think that Verstappen's main hope in regards to retaining the driver's title is other drivers taking points off each other, and that may well still be the case. However, that is certainly not the position that a man like Max Verstappen wants to be in. He wants to rely on himself and his team to deliver, and one of those two parties is currently doing anything but, as clearly heard by Max's consistent calls for them to wake up. The main issue with the RB20 is the car's balance, and it seems to be a serious one that has gotten worse as the season goes on, with Max going as far as to call the car a monster last week. According to Christian Horner, the attempts to solve this issue resulted in the car being far harder on the tyres, creating another issue which Max has complained about and potentially would have cost him at Austria earlier this season if not for the incident with championship rival Lando Norris. It's well known that Max has a contract up until 2028, however it's equally well known that there are exit clauses layered throughout, such as the one linked to Helmut Marko that was revealed late last year. Now, I don't know about you, but given that Red Bull were entirely dominant at the time of signing, with it being inconceivable that they could nosedive over the course of the next year to being the third fastest team at times, I doubt that the clause would be something as low as, say, 8th place. Clearly Max will be a Red Bull driver in 2025, that's not what is being questioned here, but the recognition that the clauses will be harder to meet without a 10-round head start is something that Helmut Marko has come to, as when he was asked about Max's future, he had this to say. Next year he'll be driving for Red Bull Racing, but 2026 is so far away, and for now our full focus is on the 2024 World Championship. The lead in the Constructors has dwindled to 8 points, but we don't have to write off the title just yet, because if Max starts to win again and Checo finishes between 3rd and 5th place, it will be enough to successfully defend the title. The other thing to bear in mind is the fact that Max Verstappen has made it clear that when he feels that F1 is no longer a sport that appeals to him, he will simply walk away, whether down to his interest in other categories, such as his known desire to win Le Mans, potentially lining him up for 2/3 of the second ever Triple Crown, or down to his distaste towards the new rules, with the Dutchman feeling that the sport is at risk of losing its soul. Christian Horner, however, is far more dismissive of Max Verstappen walking away at all before 2028, with him being baffled by how prevalent rumours of Verstappen's exit from the team have been, with the Red Bull team boss saying, I find it surprising how much discussion in the open media there is about this topic. The situation was always clear between ourselves and Max, and I think that others can talk, but we're comfortable with where we're at. It's down to us to deliver. We have an agreement until 2028, so it's down to us to deliver. Funnily enough, there's so much discussion due to how poorly Red Bull have conducted themselves, as well as Christian's best friend and father of Max, Jos Verstappen, constantly airing out the dirty laundry of the team. Following this, Christian did his favorite thing to do when the chips are down and he has to answer a difficult question, deflect to Toto Wolff, before alluding to Verstappen's exit clauses. I didn't see Toto's car performing well at Zandvoort. 2028 is a long way away. It's down to us to provide a race-winning car. Every contract has a performance clause element in it. We're not going to talk about what those elements are, but as long as we provide a competitive car, we know what the situation is. What certainly won't help is the loss of Adrian Newey from the team, with the talismanic car designer no longer partaking in any kind of meaningful work at the team in the build-up to his departure. It's now expected that Newey will pen his deal with Aston Martin next week, with Lawrence Stroll recently claiming that this deal has been years in the making. In an interview with Bloomberg, Stroll revealed, "Adrian and I have been talking not only for months, but actually for years. Adrian is clearly the most talented and gifted individual in F1 based on his track record and history. So I'd be very excited for Adrian to join our team, as I think every other F1 team on the grid would feel exactly the same." Before responding when asked if Newey would join Aston Martin, "I certainly hope so." This interview came shortly after it being revealed that Ferrari had backed out of its pursuit of Newey, with it being deemed down to them wanting to avoid a bidding war with Aston Martin, who is known to have a $100 million deal on the table for the services of the 12-time Constructors' Championship winning car designer. The timing of Newey's exit from Red Bull potentially gives reason for why Fernando Alonso penned his contract with the Silverstone team so early on this season, as it may well have been a known target of the team to secure Newey's services. So while Newey won't see his regrets involving Ferrari and Hamilton fulfilled, he may well still satisfy his desire to design a car for Fernando Alonso. Despite Newey's departure from Red Bull eerily coinciding with the car's drastic downturn in performance, Helmut Marko recently spoke out against this, claiming that it is mere coincidence and the RB20 had a flaw from the beginning, which only became visible as Red Bull upgraded and the rest of the field caught up. This is what Marko had to say in his Speedweek article about Newey's departure and the downturn in Red Bull's performance. Of course, the opinion is circulating among fans that our regression has something to do with Adrian Newey's departure, but that's not true, because Newey was no longer involved in all the details of vehicle development in the spring. What cannot of course be denied is that Newey is Newey, a man with incredible experience, which has always distinguished him, but our problems lie elsewhere. Simply put, we need to figure out where we technically took a wrong turn. So it seems on all fronts that this really isn't Red Bull's year, and it is now seemingly a case of damage limitation. What will be massively important to Red Bull is that, as well as it being limited, that the damage is contained to this season and this season alone, as if they manage to lose their car designer, championship winning driver, and enter a new regulation cycle where they are entering with a disadvantage as a brand new OEM provider, then the slippery slope that they are already on the precipice of could prove to be catastrophic for the Milton Keynes team. Thank you for watching.